what forestry brought into my life, it's just contentment and a sense of ease that I'm happy where the land is now. My name is Paul Maguire. We're living on a farm here of 72 acres. It'd be kind of traditionally described as kind of rough grazing land with bogland and some good meadowland as well. It was always farmed traditionally. My mother and her family lived here for generations. Well, I inherited the land in 1992 and I had some money as well, so I bought even more cattle than were originally here on the land. But then, after maybe 15 years or so of doing that, I thought, I'm not really making money from this. I've always liked trees and timber. I went and done a degree in furniture design and manufacturing in leather frac. During the furniture course as well, you learned a lot about trees and the structure of trees and processing of timber, and I got a grow for it. In 2007 I contacted a forest company and we walked the land and the pros and cons of it, and it was relatively early stages of forestry in Ireland. There was a lot of spruce forestry around, but I didn't want to go down that road with the furniture in mind, but I was thinking of hardwood production. This was all rough grazing land. It was open. You could see the cars going by on the road before it was planted. Now, there was a bit of wind damage from the storm in January, but that's because this was slightly wetter land and the roots didn't have the same kind of hold because it was softer ground. But in relation to hardwoods, there was less impact done on them really because the root system goes deeper down into the ground. A lot of Sitka spruce forests were just totally levelled because they didn't have a proper footing. It was on kind of softer land. The root system isn't as deep. It's not a canopy on Sitka spruce. So in 2011 I added a few more acres, but I've also had native woodland, west of Ireland, kind of rainforest, which is hundreds and hundreds of years old as well. So I was able to get into the native woodland conservation scheme with that. As part of the native woodland conservation scheme, these trees were planted. This is native Irish oak and the tubes around it to stop deer, and you have birch. Unfortunately, one or two have fallen there. That's as a result of deer scratching against them. But the roots aren't damaged, they just need to be strengthened up again. The funding there is for every aspect of forestry. It's not just for planting. The fencing is grant aided, and then down the road you get tinning grants, and obviously towards the end you're getting harvesting. But the road I've taken the last number of years is kind of continuous cover forestry. So all the forestry won't be felled at once. This is an aerial photograph of the entirety of my land. Well, I do the walks for forest companies that come to me because I'm established at this stage, and it's kind of a peer-to-peer discussion group. You're walking the land, you're walking the forestry, but the amount of knowledge that's gained by just doing farm walks is invaluable to a lot of farmers. I always encourage farmers to think of other ways of generating an income from the land. There's a friend of mine who's doing kind of the forest school, for kindergarten, and there's a scheme called the Neighbourhood Watch for either community forests or people that are willing to open up their forestry to the public as well. So I'm trying to get a new project off the ground now in forest therapy. This is one of the areas I'd hope to use for therapy sessions as well. And originally this would have been just rough grazing land. It might have kept 10 cattle for maybe a week or two of the year, and that was the maximum, so I would have been getting payments off this, but it was minimal too really, so it's far more lucrative now having it planted. So what the land is saying to me is, let me come back, let me be the way I was, not 10 years ago, not 50 years ago, hundreds of years ago, where it was a beautiful natural oasis of forestry and peatland, and it was rich not in monetary terms, environmentally. and that we're given grants now to hand it back to nature, which, yes, is a good thing.